Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Lowdown. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the founder and CEO of World Football Summit, Mr. Jan Alessie. Jan, a big warm welcome to the show.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure
Yeah,
to be here.
Jan, you joined me today from Riyadh, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I've been here already for 2.5 weeks. Yeah, our event, we're celebrating our first edition of WFS, World Football Summit Asia in Jeddah on the 12th and 13th of December. So, well, I've come with a bit of time ahead now to prepare the event here in Saudi Arabia and speak with all of the key stakeholders, who we're inviting now and who will be participating at the summit in a few weeks.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, we are exactly here to preview that event today. But before we begin with the present day, Jan, let's bring it all the way back to the very start. Could you take us through your earliest football memory?
My earliest football memory. Well, I was born in Rome, and I think the earliest football memory, I was maybe 5 years old, was when Italy won the World Cup in Spain, in Madrid, which is the city where I then moved and where World Football Summit is established. So it would be that, and also actually Roma winning the title in 1982. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are my first football memories.
Fantastic seminal events there. And of course, you mentioned there, I mean, you are responsible for the founding of World Football Summit. Could you take us through the origin story?
Yeah, well, has it actually has nothing to do really with me having a passion for football, which I do have, but it was really a business decision, no, and finding a space to develop this business. World Football Summit is actually not a company; it's a brand that belongs to a company called Nexus Fostering Partnership, which I set up in 2006, and that company specialized in organizing events and mainly promoting commercial relations between Spain and different countries. Well, together with who my partner is in Marian Otamendi, she's the co-founder and also director of World Football Summit. In 2015, we had the idea within Nexus Fostering Partnership of doing a football industry event, and surprisingly, at that time we saw that in Spain, an event that brought together the key stakeholders of the football industry did not exist, no, which is surprising, obviously, in a country, no, with the tradition and the successes that it has in football. But well, I think anybody that works also in football and sports knows that the industry itself is still very much in its infancy, so probably an event like ours was not necessary before. So we did a first edition back in 2016. It was successful, and that allowed us to build on that success and build that brand that we have now. Since that first edition in October 2016, we've organized 18 different events, and we've established a community that at the moment is of more than 100,000 people that either work in football, have a specific interest in this industry, or want to work and develop in the football and sports industry.
Absolutely fantastic. And I think it gives some wonderful and eloquent insight into what you guys are actually purporting. I'm curious to learn a little bit more. And speaking to Jaime, your CMO, the other day about the origins of World Football Summit and how the content has evolved since 2016 was particularly insightful. But do you think, Jan, it was an advantage perhaps not having that football industry experience per se? Because there's an awful lot of group think, I would say, within the football industry. So it must be nearly refreshing to come at it and approach it from first principles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we were completely clueless. I mean, we just saw that there was a big opportunity. At the end, we were not doing anything that different that isn't being done in any other industry. I mean, I think it's very important for an industry in any sector to get together, to be able, to debate, to promote what they're doing. It's to create these networking opportunities, for people to get together in an event like ours, where in 2 days you can meet people that otherwise might take you, 12, 24 months to do so, and that is was something that was lacking in Spain, and is still lacking in many other parts of the world, and that's also why we are, internationalizing our event. Our first edition, when World Football Summit was born, it was just an annual event that was taking place in Spain. We've celebrated now 7 editions in Spain of what is now called World Football Summit Europe. It's our European edition. We now have an edition in Asia. We had already done one back in 2019 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Now we're doing our second one here in Saudi Arabia. We've done an edition also in Africa, in South Africa, in Durban, which took place exactly 1 year ago now, in November last year. And next year we'll also be celebrating our first edition in the Americas, in Mexico, in June. And all of these events, they're all of them are annual events that are celebrated in different periods of the year, and they don't step on each other, but rather the opposite. They allow us to grow as a platform, to reach new audiences, to reach new partners, new speakers, because at the end, all of these events are regionally focused. So in Europe, 80% of the attendees are European. And we focus on the challenges and opportunities that the football and sports industry has in Europe. And when we bring them to Asia, we focus them in the country and the continent where we're celebrating it. In Africa, the same. And when we'll go to Mexico, exactly the same. So for example, our event on the 12th and 13th of December here in Saudi Arabia, well, obviously you can expect for many of the topics to be focused on the challenges and opportunities that Saudi Arabia and the region has.
Yeah, and for me there, the proof is in the concept, Jan, in terms of how international WFS has spawned. And it's something we were speaking just off air. I mean, the demand for this type of long form critical debate and content really does outstrip the current supply in football, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, when we started with World Football Summit, we weren't really aware of how transversal the sector is, and how many other sectors it touches, and how many people are involved in this industry, and that's something which is very important, and I think we're also, that we promote very strongly, and especially we actually, our program has 11 tracks or 11 topics, which try and cover everything that happens around football, so from governance to legal matters, to partnerships, fan engagements, now everything that is artificial intelligence, blockchain, NFTs, women's football, but also, football and development. It's amazing to see the amounts of projects around development, and how organizations and NGOs all over the world use the power of football, for good, and that is something that we weren't aware of, and that is extremely important, because football is an industry, it's a growing industry, but I think that the biggest advantage football has is the power of its voice. I always say that football is probably, or certainly, the greatest generator of content in the world, and because of that, it has also a very strong responsibility, because everything it does, everything it says, has a huge huge power, and reaches billions of people all over the world. So with that strong voice, it also has a very strong responsibility, and it's important that all the messages and everything they do are spread in a positive way.
And I think that's very important. And speaking of that responsibility, WFS prides itself as a thought leader and disruptor in industry, and rightly so, Jan. You know, um, Again, one of the mantras behind WFS, from what I'm led to believe, is the football we want, the football we need. What does that look like to you and your team?
Yeah, well, that is our new, let's say tagline that we did with a rebranding that World Football Summit had this year, which we're very proud of. We did it with a Spanish company called Suma Branding. And I think that represents very much what World Football Summit stands. I think everybody has a different view of football, no, of how football should be in the future and how it's represented. And that is very much represented by the football we want. No, so I want one kind of football, and hopefully, maybe that kind of football that I want is the one that is needed by everybody. But we pride ourselves to bring together everybody who has an opinion about football together, and hopefully, that all of those different opinions, because I'm sure the football I want is not the same as somebody else. But hopefully, if we bring together all of those people now together, we can reach an understanding, and the football in the future is going to be a lot more progressive, much more positive, and will be better than the football that we have today. No, so that's what we pride ourselves. We don't believe that our opinion is the right opinion, but we believe that bringing all of these different opinions together is gonna transform football into a better industry than it is at the moment. No.
And certainly with that challenge, Jan, you're opening up the Pandora's box of football, which is aligning so many different viewpoints and opinions of the
Yeah.
game. But
No, and that's something that is suffered very much, no, by football, because obviously it is such a it has such a big voice, no, that absolutely everybody, no, has an opinion about it. No, when you discuss other industries, no, I don't know, pharmaceutical industry, no, or tech industry, well, many people don't have an opinion because they don't know anything about it, no. But it seems that in football and sports, everybody does have an opinion, no. So it is very challenging, no, in that respect, no. And there are many different opinions around it, no. But yeah, I think the future is extremely bright, and there are always more professional people who are really helping this the game, no, and the industry to grow, and we're very proud now of having brought all of these people together, and we're really looking forward to all the other people that we will bring together in the future.
and in what can be quite often nuanced as a transient industry, Jan, which is football, with an awful lot of churn and turnover. I mean, how do you exactly go about creating win-win situations for each other and forming long-lasting partnerships? Because from speaking to various team members from down in Miami recently to over the phone over the past week, I can see like there's a real hunger and energy for employees of the organization to be part of something more. And it's interesting too, you have several unique relationships and partnerships, such as the one with the city of Seville, such as the recent one with FIFA Pro too.
Yeah, well, those kind of partnerships, I mean, we hope to build them for us to build them strongly, no, and to have many more, no. At the end, what we want to do, as I said, is give a voice to all of the key stakeholders of the industry, bring them together, set up a strong partnership with them, and ensure that these organizations have a voice at an event like ours, no. So FIFPro, for example, represents obviously the interests of the football players, no, which are the main actors of this industry, no, and without whom this industry would not exist. So an organization such as FIFPro has to be represented at an event like ours, not at everything that we do, no. But the same goes for FIFA, for UEFA, for the leagues, for the clubs, for everybody that is involved in football, and without whom that this industry cannot evolve. And then well, the city of Sevilla, for example, that is our partner in our summit in Europe, and what we're trying to do is actually build those same relationships, with the cities of every other event where we're celebrating World Football Summit events. No, so now here in Saudi Arabia, next year in Mexico, probably in Cancun, and in the future also. We also in Africa, in South Africa, where we did our event in Durban.
It's fantastic because you speak about giving these stakeholders a voice, right? And obviously that comes in the long form debate, it comes in event day, it also comes through the medium of your fantastic podcast that I was listening to over the last week. But as you said earlier on too, Jan, as I'm scribbling in my notes, football is the biggest creator of content worldwide. And obviously, we're in an age of disruption with the advent of AI and Web3, amongst many other technologies. How do you foresee the evolution of WFS content evolving over the coming years?
Well, in that sense, is as I was saying, I mean, it has a big voice, and actually just going back to what I was saying before about FIFPro giving them a voice, or FIFA giving them a voice at our event. Obviously, they have a much bigger voice individually than we do, no? But it's very rare when all of these different organizations come together at one same event, and can discuss together, because I think that's something that our organization can provide. But it is quite unique because many, I mean, FIFPro, FIFA, they all organize their own events, but they don't come together very often, so that is something that we certainly provide, and I think it's quite unique in that sense.
And in that instance, or in that regard, how do you foresee WFS's social media content evolving with that?
Well, and that has evolved, Connor, tremendously. I mean, just for us, we have so much content. We have hundreds of panels, for example, that have already taken place. They're all on our YouTube channel. The knowledge that has already been shared at World Football Summit, is huge, and if one were to listen to everything, all of the different panels and all of the different people who have attended, and participated at World Football Summit, you'd probably, obtain the best masters in sports or football management that there is, so what technology really provides you, because it's impossible to view absolutely everything, is really to properly share all of that content, throughout our platform. The other day, through artificial intelligence, for example, we saw we're now using a platform which allows you, to get a 45-minute panel, and summarize it, edit it and summarize it with the key highlights in a 3 or 4 minute video, and that before, had to be done privately and would probably take hours, and now, through a small app, it can be done in minutes, so, getting all of that content, and sharing it throughout our platform, which also allows our platforms to grow, is crucial for us, I mean, at the end, we are content generators, but it's very important for that content, to be taken, to be shared, and to allow us to grow as a platform and as a community.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, I mean, Jan, you join us today from Riyadh, where in fact you're getting ready for the latest edition of WFS that takes place in Jeddah in a few weeks. Following on from the success of Seville, how does the Jeddah offering differ exactly? Obviously, new content and whatnot, and what can we expect to look forward to at this event?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the format of the event is exactly the same. And it's, as I was saying, what we've done in Spain, we want to replicate now in Saudi Arabia. So it's a 2-day event. We're going to have over 150 different speakers. It's 2 stages with 35 different panels, which are going to cover the football industry as a whole. But obviously in Jeddah, the focus is mainly going to be on the challenges and opportunities that are being faced in Saudi Arabia and the whole region. So even though the format is extremely similar, the attendees, the speakers, and the topics are going to be focused on football here in this region, no? And with everything that is happening in Saudi Arabia, in the last year, since, especially in football, no, since Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Al Nassr, I mean, the main topic of conversation around the football industry seems to be taking place here now. Also now with the bid of Saudi Arabia for the 2034 World Cup, the huge investments that are being done here, all of the players who have attended. I mean, there's a real consensus, no, that maybe the future of the football industry is here, no. So I think it's going to be extremely interesting because everybody is going to be talking about it, no, and it's going to be debating about what is happening and the things that have to be done for this industry to improve, to grow, to be sustainable, no. And we have some fantastic speakers from the region, but also from across the globe that are going to be traveling to Jeddah to discuss that, no. From a Nobel Peace Prize winner, no, such as Mohammed Yunus, to the Secretary General of the Asian Football Confederation, to the CEO of Riyadh Air, who's now the main sponsor of Atletico Madrid. We have also the CEO of Atletico Madrid that is coming. We have the new chief revenue officer of Chelsea. We have football legends such as Erika Vidal, who's coming. You know, it's, well, all of the people who will be attending, no, and participating, no, are extremely high profiles and interesting profiles, no, but obviously they'll be coming to Saudi Arabia and they're going to be discussing what's happening here in this country and in this region, no. So we're also, I believe, the first football industry or sports industry event that is taking place here. It's an excellent, I think, opportunity to know what is happening here, and also obviously to engage with the people who are transforming the industry here now, because there's so much more to be done and the opportunities are huge.
And I would say you're getting ahead of the curve, so to speak, looking at the MENA region and the Asian market as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You foresee that part of the world being a huge footballing powerhouse going forward?
Yes, I believe so, no, because I think they have the resources to do so, no. Many people, have fantastic ideas about different projects, no. But many times what is missing is the resources to carry them out. And here those resources exist. And I think there's a real intention to carry them out. So I believe here that the future is bright now and the opportunities are huge.
Jan, I've really enjoyed this chat today. I'm excited to see more and learn more about the WFS over coming editions. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing how Jeddah goes in a few weeks. But as is closing tradition on the podcast, Jan, what would be the one bit of key advice that you'd have for anyone that's that even slightly bit inspired by the career path which you've thread to date?
Well, it's I mean, for World Football Summit is really an entrepreneurial venture. So I mean, we happened to bump into the football industry because we saw an opportunity. We saw an opportunity in football to engage everybody who works in football in an annual summit, which now has become a lot bigger than that. No. So really, at the end is having an idea, which is great, but then having the guts to carry it through, which is never easy for any startup. But also build a very strong team around that can help you develop that idea and make it a reality. So yeah, for me it's having that commitment to developing a business like ours.
Absolutely fantastic. Mr. Jan Alessie, it was an absolute pleasure hosting you today on the show.
No, thank you, Connor. Pleasure to be with you.